Chapter 2. Family. It felt weird being at a wedding. 5 years ago, a wedding for mothball meant hunting ground. After all, there was no event that had more love. Who knew mothball would not end up being a groom stallion one? It was one of his many disguises, a green unicorn with blue hair, dressed in a blue tuxedo to match the grooms. Standing in front of it was Applejack and Legend Breaker's adopted son, Cinnamon Stick. Rainbow Dash had swords his 15-year-old daughter, Prism, and their older daughter, Lightning Dash, who stood behind her twin brother, Thunder, as the best mare. The Pegasus was staring into his bride's brilliant bright eyes. Apple Blossom was in a simple but elegant white gown, her orange maid tying them in a bun. Behind her stood her teenage cousin Cinnamon Roll, followed by Screwball and her friend Dinky. The 5-year-old dragon pony Apple Spike sat at Cinnamon Roll's toes, his green reptilian eyes staring intently at the jewel golden rings in the cushion he held. Cinnamon Roll kept glancing at her brother to make sure he didn't need him. Beside him, with an empty basket at her mouth, stood Rarity of Fancy Pants' youngest daughter, Jewel. A white 3-year-old unicorn with smooth lavender mane tied to a tiny ponytail. Everybody, aww! Princess Twilight Sparkle stood behind the bride and groom, giving her speech. Mothball didn't pay much heed to it as his gaze wandered around the crowd. The wedding was held at Sweet Apple Acres, the bride and groom standing beneath a gazebo as they said their vows, while the attendees watched from the 2 columns of wooden benches. On the groom's side was the Dash family, his parents in the front row. Soren was sobbing his eyes out while Rainbow was patting him on the back, trying very hard not to do the same. Behind the family sat all their friends, including the Discord, Pants, Sparkle, and Pie families. The bride's side stretched out much further, as it contained every single member of the Apple family. Apple Blossom's parents, being Macintosh and Charlie, sat in the front row, along with her uncle Legend Breaker, her aunts Applejack and Apple Blue and Granny Smith. It was a wonder how that pony was still alive! Good living! Mothball had turned his attention back to the bride and groom. Over the 5 years he had lived with Screwball, he had gotten to know her friends better. Thunderdash and Cinnamon Stick had become his best friends and were quite helpful at dating advice, since they had girlfriends themselves. It couldn't help but smirk whenever he saw Cinnamon Stick and Dinky lean out of their lines and steal glances from each other. Mothball could feel the love radiating off the soon-to-be married couple, as well as the not-married one. While he learned to control his feeding around ponies, he could still feel instances of love without trying. He was glad to see the 2 lovebirds tied a knot, as Screwball had told him they'd been crushing on each other since kindergarten, and only started dating 5 years ago. Not long before Mothball came into the picture. After Twilight used her magic to slide the rings onto the bride and groom's hose, she announced, "I now pronounce this couple husband and wife." Thunderdash and Apple Blossom didn't wait for the princess to tell her to kiss. The crowd cheered, but the bride's family was the loudest as they shouted, "Yeehaw!" and threw their hats in the air. The reception was even rowdier, as the bride and groom's first dance was to an upbeat country tune. Mothball stood and watched it from the punch bowl, with Lightning and Cinnamon Stick. "Guess that means we're related now," the everybody said to the Pegasus. "Guess so." "So," she said with a sly grin, "when are you and Dinky gonna tie the knot?" Cinnamon Stick's brown cheeks turned red. "Well, we kinda decided to wait until our baking business gets off the ground, you know? We want to be able to provide for each other before we take any big lifts." Lightning Dash sighed as he watched the other couples join the bride and groom on the dance floor. "Looks like I'm the only one in the group." "You have time," Mothball pointed out. "I mean, you guys are hardly even 20 yet." "Yeah," Cinnamon Stick smirked. "Thunder had to marry my cousin now because Big Mac wasn't sure of his intentions towards his daughter. That and she was looking a little bit chubbier." "Boy, I know how that feels." Changeling went under his breath. "I know we're all young," Lightning sighed. "But now that my brother's settling down, I kinda want to settle down too." "You think you're sure you're ready after that breakup with Aquafresh?" Cinnamon Stick asked. "Yeah, I think so. I think you're in luck. My cousin Appletart's over there giving you the eye." Lightning looked in the direction he was pointing and raised an eyebrow. "Aren't they all my cousins now?" "All about marriage. Besides, they're distant," he whispered in the ear. Pegasus grinned and made her way across the field. "Think it'll work out?" Cinnamon Stick asked Mothball. Changeling shrugged. "They both have a slight attraction. I can't predict the future, though." "Hey!" Oof! Mothball exclaimed as her peacock right around his neck. How about dance, lover boy? Screwball demanded. Cecily smiled. Zer. She pouted. I wish you wouldn't wear that disguise. Ponies are used to you enough. Mothball sighed. The ponies of Ponyville are used to see me. Appleboss's cousins, however. Oh, what if they see you? What's the worst that could happen? I don't know. A giant mob of cow ponies carrying pizzas, forks, and shotguns. Oh, you. She giggled, playfully nudging his shoulder. No, he's right, actually. Cinnamon Strike's elbow shrugged. There's always a pitchfork of sudden in these things, in case the group gets cold hoofs. Did you hear about my parents' wedding? Screwball rolled her eyes. You're not helping. Whatever, I still want that dance. She pulled her disguised boyfriend onto the dance floor. Mothball was usually a splendid dance partner, as all changelings learned to dance his way to seduction. However, he was not prepared for square dancing. Screwball ended up taking the lead and twirling him on his toes before dipping him. Just so you know, she said, bringing him back to her eye level, you won't have to wear a disguise at our wedding. Oh, that's good, I guess. She paused and looked at her white eyes. Wait, what? Ahem! They looked up to see discord leaking off of them. Dad, Screwball groaned, I'm almost 20. Lay off. Chill, sweetie. The Crocodile said, putting up his hands. I only asked my daughter for a dance. Your friend there is doing the same. He pointed to where Apple Blossom and Big Macintosh were dancing. They're the dance a rainbow a few feet away. Screwball smiled as he took her father's paw. Okay, Daddy. She sent Mothball one last glance before pulling the Discord's embrace. The changeling was less than a daze at what Screwball had just said. He stepped back and watched her laugh as her father spun her around. He always loved that bubbly laugh of hers. It was one of the first things he had found interesting about her. So gentle he couldn't help but laugh to go along with it. Her bridesmaid gown was red to go with the apple theme. She wasn't wearing a propeller hat, which was rare, allowing her purple and white curls to fly freely in the wind. Even from afar, he could see the sparkle in her swirly purple eyes. He longed for them to be near again so he could gaze into infinity. Things have been going well over the past 5 years. Despite Discord's constant hovering, Mothball enjoyed living in a castle of chaos. There's so much space and with so many rooms filled with random things, it was hard to get bored. First, I taken the role of his adopted mother, and while her constant nitpicking could get annoying, visiting his mane, dressing him for the weather, he rather liked the warmth he received from her. His thoughts were momentarily interrupted by a high-pitched scream. Mom! Mothball looked down to see his 3-year-old purple Alicorn with a light blue pink mane ran past him. She's followed by Zane, now 5 years old, with a picture book hovering beside him, snapping like an alligator. Zane's trying to bite me with a book, the young Alicorn screeched. Nom 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 nom. Zane taunted as he used his chaotic master's open to close the book. It was stopped by a green aura that carried his Mothball's hooves. Zane flinched under his glare. Even though the changeling was disguised, Zane somehow always knew it was his sister's boyfriend. Really, Zany, Mothball said sternly. How many times has your mother told you to play nice with the other kids? I was playing nice, Zane protested, crusting his hooves. But Twinkletoes is a scaredy cat. I am not, Nephili exclaimed, walking up with an orange Pegasus stallion by her side. What's going on? Zany here was tasting Twinkle with her book. Zzz, Mothball replied, turning his eyes to the cult. But he's very sorry and won't do it again, right? Zane grunted, yeah. Zzz. Did you just mock me? The changeling nodded and floated the book bound into a little Alicorn. Here you go, Twinkle. She huffed. No, Twilight Twinkle Sparkle, Flash said, patting his star in the back. Zane said he was sorry. Huh? She said again, turning her huffing nose in the air. Flash gave Mothball a silent thanks before following her. Mothball glared down at Zany. She started it, Colt grumbled. I don't want to hear it. Zzz. Mothball said, taking himself and dragging him over to Flare's eye. Moms. Okay, stop you right now! Thick, I'm okay with Fluttershy taking him in. I'm okay with them letting Mothball being in the same house as Screwball. Because I'm a mature adult, I can think that there's a way that a male and female boyfriend can live together in the same house without banging guitars and senseless. Tough, but doable. I was okay with nobody thinking maybe Mothball needs another room. I was fine with all that. I was okay with Mothball seeing Fluttershy as another mother figure because, hell, my mom did the same with my grandmother. And my grandmother was like a second mother to my mom. Hell, my grandmother even had a moral that I take to heart that she doesn't have daughters-in-law, she has daughters. I was fine with that. But until I see a wedding ring on that thing's hose, then we start getting a little bit, But, maybe I need another opinion. I wonder what my little brother thinks. Be right back. Okay, everybody, I brought over my little brother from, who's been busy with his own show. Go watch it. So, little brother, what do you think? Do you think it's a little bit too early in Mothball and Screwball's relationship for Mothball to start calling Fluttershy mom after he's been living in the same house with her for 5 years, and Fluttershy's been acting like a single maternal figure, and Mothball is trying to date Screwball? Don't you think it's a little bit early before that?
Maybe.
I thought as much. Thank you, little brother. You may go. I mean, folks, go watch his show. Remember, folks, I'm also role-playing on his channel, too. There. I hope he appreciates the plug. Remember, that's Rick Hammersteel. First I saw the grumpiness in young son's face. What do you do this time? Fight with twinkles. Chainsaw explained. Again, Zany, how many times have I told you? I told him. They didn't stop Fluttershy from starting a long lecture with her son. Mothball smiled a bit and left the two alone. Zany was another thing he loved about his new life. The little tank was like a brother to him, and Mothball had been around for so long that Zany considered him a big brother. Even though the chaotic cult would make mischief on several occasions, it was still fun to play with and at times. Super adorable. Mothball glanced between Fluttershy and scolding Zany and Discord dancing with Screwball. He became his family, much more than the Changelings had ever been. And as he watched this beautiful Screwball, he couldn't argue that he belonged here. It was when he made a decision that changed his life forever. Zany was bouncing out the walls when he returned to Castle of Chaos. It took Discord and Screwball to catch him. Once the cult calmed down, Fluttershy took him in his hooves and flew downstairs to put him to bed. Screwball yawned and decided to see what gave him to sleep too. So he hugged her father and kissed Mothball on the cheek before floating down to the room. For once, the Changeling was grateful to be alone with Discord. Mr. Discord, he asked the twins in nervousness. Can I ask you something important? Discord looked down at him with neutral expression. Not much time Mothball had asked him for advice. Despite the continuing tension between them, Discord was the only older male figure in the boy's life. And why would he sometimes come to him with a son he could ask his father? What the heck? He shrugged, teleporting back to the couch. Well, what do you want to talk to about, kid? Well, Mothball muttered, rubbing the back of his neck. The wedding today got me thinking. Now, I know you don't like me very much, sir, but he took a deep breath. I want permission to marry your daughters. He shut his eyes, expecting a scolding, or at least for Draconicus to summon a glass of water, drink it, and spit it out. All he heard was silence. You know, I do hope this fic doesn't try to randomly slam in a adventure story in here, and we can just turn this into a ponyfied version of Father of the Bride. Yes, that's a real movie. It stars Steve Martin, Diane Short, Diane Keaton, and Martin Short. Yes, I have a vast repertoire of obscure movies. Why do you ask? Well, it's about time. Mothball opened his other eye. You mean you're not mad? Mad? Why would I be mad? You're making a commitment to my daughter. What's more, you actually feel the need to ask permission. That's not a sign of a good son-in-law. I don't know what is. Yeah, I know. My grandpa one time actually took the time when he was dating my grandmother to walk up the stairs to ask if he could take her to the car. This was in the 40s, people. Cecily grinned happily. So I can marry her? But of course, unless he says no, which I doubt. Well, I'll even give you a ring. He was about to snap his fingers when Mothball said, actually, I was hoping to buy one myself. You know how I've been working part-time at the perfume shop? Apple Blossom recommended him for that job 2 years ago. When Discord had told him he should have worked to build character. That job turned out to be perfect for him. Since Cecily had an excellent sense of smell, he could smell the perfumes apart without looking at the labels or opening the bottles. Well, he continued, I haven't really done anything with the money I earned. It should be enough for a ring. Discord blinked and slapped Mothball on the back hard enough to not. You, my boy, have earned my respect. Discord's face turned into his usual sternness and leaned in closer. Well, let's get one thing straight. You and my daughter are not to go any further than first base until after the wedding. Understand? Mothball gulped and I understood, sir. Not that he didn't break that rule already one summer night. Ooh. Naughty. Thank you. Good. The Chronicles leaned back and smiled. You better make the proposal romantic. Otherwise, he's never going to say yes. Well, unless you use 3 imprisoned princesses for leverage. But I wouldn't recommend that. So, good luck, I guess. Cecily grinned as he slid off the couch. Thanks, Dad. Discord smile disappeared. What was that? Mothball froze a bit his lip. Thanks, Mr. Discord. He turned to see the Chronicles' expression. He couldn't tell if he was shocked, displeased, or touched. Maybe it was all three. Discord shook his head with a huff. Go to bed, kid. Mothball complied. It was his command. But as soon as they were facing away from each other, they could no longer suppress their smiles. General Mantis was searching the hive for his queen. She had been secluded for days, and only just discovered she wasn't in her chamber. He came across one of the older parts of the hive on the lowest level. He passed by a large hexagonal hall doorway and stopped. He turned back and realized the crystallized barrier had been blasted through. He pulled back the old, tattered black curtain and found the queen lying on a large, black canopy bed. The room was dusty and hadn't been visited for years now. The general couldn't see the queen's face, but he did see she had something small in her hose which he could not identify. Your Majesty, he spoke softly. Questle's head shot back up and turned sharply to the general. She let a little sigh and placed her head back on her black pillow. Oh, General, it's only you, she murmured. General Mantis glanced around the bedroom. My queen, is this where you have been for the past few days? She dodged the question with one of her own. How long have you been my General Mantis? He paused to ponder the answer. Almost 1,000 years, my queen. Ah, yes, she died. You've seen it all. You see why I grieve. He tilted his head. What do you mean, my queens? You remember who slept in his room? Don't worry about breaking the laws. I won't punish you. Remember, the first one had ambition, but lacked the powers. The second had the power, but lacked ambition. She's curled up into a ball. The general couldn't remember ever seeing the queen this vulnerable. After all these years, she muttered, I still have an heirs. There's still hope, my queen, General Mantis insisted. There are plenty of fertile stallions out there for you to... 3 months. He blinked. Come again. She sat looked down, with her eyes studied the general, never seen in all the years he had served her. Fear. 3 months, Mantis, she repeated with a cracked voice. I haven't given birth to 3 months. Gerald stiffened as he was replying. It could just be a hiccup, your majesty. After all, 3 months isn't that long. You fools! She bellowed, leaping out the bed onto her hose. Don't you realize what is happening? You know as well as I do when a queen loses her fertility. She stopped suddenly. She held gas as her legs gave out. He flew over and caught her before she hit the floor. The color drained from her face and eyes were glazed over. He looked up wearily at the general. She's no good anymore. Zzz.